Good afternoon, Ralph. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Hello, everybody. Next up, it's to Old Trafford that we go, where we'll be hosted by Manchester United on Saturday at 3 p.m. Yes, Saturday. Yes, 3 p.m. Engineering works at Euston mean that trains are being retimed all over the place, so look it up before you go. So, Manchester United then, one of these so-called Super Six. A nickname that started off as laughable has become more and more risible with each passing day. You will recall that the membership form for the tournament simply asked club owners to complete the following sentence. I think we should be allowed in the Super League because... ... Whatever was written, the bar can't have been set that high. Merely being able to write something, or in Tottenham's case having someone to write something for you, seems to have been good enough to let people in at the time. Having been punished by the Premier League with a fine so heavy they sent a cloakroom attendant along to pay it and claim it back through expenses, they returned to find more ways of making themselves look daft. This Manchester United have largely achieved with their performances on the pitch. The nadir of these was their defeat in November away at Watford. Yes, that Watford. That was enough to enable Solskjaer to disappear in the general direction of Norway. His only other English League experience came with an uninspiring 8-month spell at Cardiff. 2 of those 8 months were closed season, which just goes to show how mediocre his spell by the Taff must have been. Manchester United then raided Lokomotiv Moscow for Ralf Rangnick, who was appointed as interim manager until the end of the season, whereupon his contract apparently provides him to become director of football for a couple of years. The role of a fixed-term interim manager always seems to me to be an exercise in self-administering gunshot wounds to the metatarsals. With a fixed-term agreement, the club are unlikely to be backing the boss in the winter window. I mean, it's logical enough. Why spend £100 million on players who might be out of favour when the new chap comes in July? The interim arrangement will also surely hamper their search for a new boss at the end of the season. They'll be limiting their options to managers who are happy to work under Rangnick for the next 2 years. There'll be a lot of potential targets who would want to work their own way, one would have thought. Then there's the relationship between Rangnick and the players. They don't look a happy bunch at the moment. Depending on who you believe, Marshall either refused to play or didn't refuse to play a few days ago. Whatever the reason, he didn't play. Marcus Rashford looked so depressed on the pitch the other day that I was genuinely concerned for his mental well-being. Daisy tells me that they've yet to stick a toe in the water this transfer window. They did lay out £85 million in the summer for Jadon Sancho, but he's failed to set the world alight since arriving from Borussia Dortmund. And he was omitted from the squad completely that played Brentford on Wednesday. Talking of their players, it raises the Lingard question. Now, clearly he'll be leaving Old Trafford, it just being a question of when. Manchester United are unwilling to let him go in this window to us, lest we beat them to a top 4 spot. Or to Spurs, lest they have to try and make do with the Thursday night Isthmian League. Newcastle are interested, but the player might not be so keen to risk second-tier football next season, or even a relegation battle in this one. It is said that a loan deal to Tyneside was mooted but rejected on Old Trafford. All the while, the player can go where he wants for free if he stays put until the summer. If we could get a deal done, he'd be a great signing in this window, if only for the mental boost he'd give to the squad. Their results since Rangnick arrived have been, well, okayish, I suppose. They won 4 and drew 2 and lost just the once of the 6 games played before Wednesday's trip to West London. However, the performances have been less than inspiring, to say the least. For example, they were by far and away second best to Villa in both the FA Cup and League matches that they played recently. In the League, even at 2-0 up, they looked far from convincing. And even though Villa came back from 2-0 down, they were probably kicking themselves that all 3 points didn't come their way. The 3-1 win at Brentford was, by all accounts, very flattering, and had the Bees taken their chances at 0-0, it would have been a much different story. Enough of them. Let's move on, shall we, to the wild and wacky world of association football. COVID continues to dominate proceedings, with some clubs taking full advantage of the fact that the Premier League's COVID rules appear to have been drafted by the Office Junior after a particularly good work event. Arsenal were the latest team to take the proverbial, citing one player whose housekeeper's cousin might have had a positive test, but they dropped the test cartridge down the bog, thus blurring the pink lines, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Plus they also had players at the African Cup of Soup, all on a suspension, and some other injuries. Now, if the Premier League are stupid enough to draft stupid rules, and I think we can take it as read that they are, then nobody should be surprised when said rules get bent out of shape. Of course, any well-run organisation might have foreseen this coming and drafted something a bit more robust other than bring a note from the player's mum to say he's excused games. However, you rarely see the words well-run and Premier League in the same sentence, unless that sentence also includes the words about as and England batting lineup. And so to us. Well, that was a game too far at the weekend, really. A combination of excellent pressing from Leeds and a back four that had a Diop-inspired collective off day conspired to chuck away a match that, despite our not being the full Monty on the day, we could still have got something out of. Bowen's miss at the end being the moment that screamed, "Not your day, lads." Souček was very much missed. Lanzini's lack of defensive nous meant that Declan was effectively performing two roles. On the injury front, Zuma is said to be close to a return, but may have to wait another week for a clear COVID test. If he is fit, expect Diop to be benched. Souček should be clear by now, leaving Noble and Ogbono in the treatment room, and Benrahma out in Africa at the time of writing. So, on to the prediction. Well, I'm more optimistic than I probably should be. We were incredibly unlucky to lose in the league fixture and deserved winners up there in the League Cup. A win ought to be out of the question, but factoring the fact that referees traditionally give them the rub of the green on their own patch, I will temper such optimism and go for a draw. So the £2.50 that was going to be spent on a massive legitimate work event here at the Avram Grant Olympic Rest Home for the Bewildered will instead be going on a 2-2 draw. Make it so, please, Mr. Winston. Enjoy the game.
So we're here in the offices of a Late Late Show with the host of a Late Late Show, James Corden.
Hi.
Big West Ham fan.
Yes. And big knees up Mother Brown, man.
Yeah.
Get on the forum at kumb.com. Come on, you irons.